Welcome to another installment of the Up and Over Podcast, a podcast where a handful of degenerates discuss pro wrestling, where everything's a work and our opinions don't even matter. I
These guys.
am your host, El Gordo Gringo.
El Gordo Gringo.
Hey. My lovely co-hosts over here. We got Big Money Mike.
Woo!
We got the ever so southern gentleman, Ethan Lewis. Got Mr. Patty Mills.
I'm going to say something because people are listening. What's up?
Go ahead, Casey. It's fine. Go ahead. Get the last one in here because we're having the conversation about
And
that.
then we've got Big Papa Carlin.
Hello. Still dad.
New dad.
The ever so new dad.
Pat, did we forget that we have a fucking YouTube by any chance, buddy?
I didn't forget, but I mean, people obviously listening.
It's right. People be working and shit.
No worries. Let's go.
We're airing grievances just out the rip. All right.
Fine, fuck it.
Tonight, we've got WrestleMania 19. But before we go and discuss that, what happened this week in wrestling, boys?
I don't want to talk about what happened this week in wrestling since Ethan isn't caught up on Dynamite. However, I think the big thing that we should cover beforehand,
Let's go.
Saturday, is AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view.
Yes, sir.
Coming live from Minnesota. Just wanted to go over this card and really not even get predictions, but more your favorite match on the card or your most anticipated match. So right now the card is looking like Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa.
That got added?
Yep. That's
on the main
added.
card?
I don't know, so it doesn't tell me if it's on your like buy-in or not. Did you hear about the other one that got added?
Yes,
The
Cody
other one,
Yeah.
that was a Pac and Cody.
Yeah, Pac and Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo, with Jose the assistant out there with him. Christian Cage and Jurassic Express, which is Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, versus the Super Click, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. CM
False
Punk
count
versus
anywhere.
Eddie Kingston. That is a false count anywhere. CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston, which should be a false count anywhere. But that's going to be a doozy. Darby Allin with Sting versus MJF with Wardlow. The Lucha Brothers. Yeah, the Pillars. Lucha Brothers, which are your champions versus FTR. That's a tag team championship match. Then you have the Inner Circle, which is Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz versus Men of the Year. Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, and some people from American Top Team. Not America's Top Team, Chris Jericho. American Top Team. Junior Dos Santos, Andre Arlovsky, and Dan Lambert's worthless ass.
With Paige Van Zandt.
Apparently, right? She should be
Hopefully.
there. Fingers crossed. And a Minneapolis street fight. Then you have the finals of the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament, which is Bryan Danielson versus the Redeemer Miro. Dr. Britt Baker versus Ty Conti for the AEW Women's World Championship. And then our main event assumed would be Kenny Omega defending his AEW World Championship versus Hangman Adam Page. Cortland, we'll start with you. What is your most anticipated match on this card? I know.
You know what it's going to be. It's the Lucha Brothers versus FTR. I love their getting it done with each other. I definitely enjoyed Dax Harwood's match with Pac this week. I know he hadn't seen it. Highly recommend when you guys have to go back and look at it. Also, the Eddie Kingston, CM Punk. We all watched last week's. If you didn't see that, I'm sure you saw the interaction on the internet because it was everywhere. I'm super excited for this match. I'm even more excited that it felt to me that Eddie Kingston kind of outdid CM Punk in their exchange, at least to me. It was kind of cool to see or feel like that CM Punk kind of got stuck, like stumbled for once, and you have Eddie Kingston who's just like this monster of a human being, and that's what makes him so cool is because that's the dude that is insane, but it's the same dude you see at the gas station every week. It's the dude that changes your car. It's the dude that it's the guy that everywhere in life.
I'm not trying to fucking fight that dude.
And you're not
Right.
I'm really excited to see because like this seems like true heat, you know. So I'm looking forward to seeing what plays out in this, and hopefully CM Punk can get humbled a little bit.
Because the thing is, too, just from someone who used to watch all those old IWA Mid-South shows they were on, CM Punk used to bury a lot of people on commentary. Like, it literally, he got shit for it back then. Like, a lot of people got offended because he would just, they always said he would try to put himself over on commentary. And I'm sure Eddie Kingston was in a lot of those matches. So I feel like there's definitely a lot of reality to what they're bringing back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat, what's your most anticipated match on the card?
Probably CM Punk, Eddie Kingston. One for all the reasons that Cortland just said it, and also just like I think this is the match that everybody wants right now for CM Punk is like that shit, like that heater match, and this is the one that you're gonna get. Low-key, I'm excited for Ty Conti and Britt Baker. I don't think Ty's gonna win, but I'm just happy that she's gonna have a fucking title shot.
Yeah.
And obviously Lucha Bros and FTR.
Yeah.
Like-
I feel like all 5 of us are going to say the CM Punk Eddie Kingston match.
Yeah.
So let's rule that out, right? Ethan, what's your most anticipated match outside of Punk Kingston?
I was going to go with Page Omega anyway, just because I knew Punk and Kingston was going to be the hot pick. I mean, it's a 2-3 year story coming to a head. I mean, that's what this company has been built around the main event on Saturday. So to me, it's the biggest match of the year in all of wrestling.
Yeah,
Just
it's
my
the
personal
culmination of AEW as a company at
Yeah.
this point,
Yeah,
right?
like to me, it almost feels like the beginning of a new era, if you could even say that. You know what I mean? It feels like this is going to be a shift for sure, you know?
Sure.
I agree.
Casey, what about you, my man?
Honestly, the Danielson Miro match. I think like
Awesome.
because I mean, like, yeah, it's like overall, it's like I don't think most of the matches we can really pick like a bad match for the majority of them, but like I feel like because of what Miro's done in his time and like really showing people like what he could do, and then having Danielson remind everyone like what the fuck he can do is the part where it's like, oh, this is gonna be a fight, like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've built both of them up in such a way that it's like it almost feels like it was meant for that to be the final. You know what I mean? Like it's the perfect pairing.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
who's doing promos better than Miro right now? It's really
Eddie Kingston.
just
That's it.
Oh,
You have
well,
Kingston and Miro, right? Like
Yeah.
that's it.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, most of Kingston's work is, I mean, mostly that I've seen, they're good vignettes, but like Miro's taking on these vignettes in a way that, I mean, dude, when was the last time you saw something like
This
this?
shit's their hardest.
Well, like I feel like Miro,
Just
like
saying, like he can't go home to his wife is like the hardest shit in the world to me. Like all of it is just super cool, man.
well, I feel
I'm
like,
really excited for that.
I feel like Miro took his time with the WWE, and he took the things that like he learned there, and we're like, I'm gonna show motherfuckers like how, like you cut a promo again. Because like I do feel like there's we have a lot of indie people that didn't have a lot of time and didn't really develop any of those skills, and he was like, if you want to learn, you fucking listen to my promo any week that I do one.
Yeah. On the converse, I've seen people talk about how Miro rather every week having a similar promo is kind of killing his push, I guess, like his momentum. And I'm like, dude, y'all just aren't paying attention. Like that's just what it comes down to.
Mhm.
Um,
And Ethan, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I don't think it by any means killing his momentum. I think they're great. Would I like to see him pop up and just cut a promo in the ring sometimes instead of a pre-tape? Yeah, because I think AEW sometimes will get way too in the habit of doing the same thing over and over with some people and feuds. And if they just sent his ass out there, even just had him squash somebody and then cut a promo after, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Send fucking Colton Gunn out there or some shit.
yeah, and just butcher his ass. The thing with Miro, would he have gotten a spot on this card without having the Mox situation pop up, right? So for him to be put against Danielson, who hasn't had a mediocre match this far, I think it's really going to put Miro on the map. For me, I think the most anticipated match would probably be the Pac, Cody Rhodes, Malachi Black, Andrade tag match. I think it's a great late ad, and I think it's going to be a blast of a match. Andrade's found his stride. This is something that Ethan and I talk about a lot, is like Andrade found his stride. Name a better person in AEW right now in terms of match quality, aside from Danielson, than Pac. Like, Pac has been absolutely lights out with everything he's done. Malachi Black has been super fun to watch since he came in, and it's going to be interesting seeing the reception that Cody Rhodes gets on pay-per-view. You could see some fun things in this match, but I think this is going to be an absolute sleeper of a tag team match.
100%. 100%. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like also that it's like, it's a little bit breaking the formula somewhat of how they normally book their pay-per-views. You know, it's not just insert tag team and insert tag team. You know, it's like you're kind of throwing a bunch of different characters that intertwine. But, you know what I mean? To me, that's the draw of it. You know, obviously... Right. You know, the story and all of them's there, but the fact that, you know, we haven't seen these guys mix it up that much, aside from Cody and Malachi Black, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So it's going to be a really interesting card there. Ethan and I have had a conversation. This could very well be, we do ratings obviously every week. You have, what, 3, 4, 5 different matches on this card that could push 4+ in terms of a rating. Yeah. This could be, we very well could be talking all-time best when this pay-per-view is all said and done. That's the hype that we're at right now. Yeah, because it feels like they're feeling more and more like a promotion that is like how WWE, they've overdone it, obviously, with making their own universe where things just click and coincide and work. Sometimes AEW can feel like, oh, here's some dream matches and this one versus that. It's really like, especially with the Cody, Pac, and Andrade Malachi match, it's like, feels like everyone feels connected in some way, and it feels more like a show and not just a bunch of matches on a card, you know? Yeah, they're digging their feet into certain things.
Well, like the storyline that they've been kind of driving with all of them has been interesting, but it's like, that's also, it's like, I do kind of think that it might be like a sleeper match on the card, because like, who the fuck would have thought that we're going to pair Pac and Cody together? Yeah. Like that dynamic alone is going to be really fucking interesting. And then like on top of the fact that like, yeah, it's like you have like 4 really good performers in the ring. And then, yeah, it doesn't feel like a forced match. It doesn't feel like, it literally felt like it was like, oh, well, fuck, we kind of have to put them on the card. Like it almost kind of felt like that, like as of like everything that's happened in the last couple weeks.
But it's not felt forced. That's
it's
not
just,
at all.
It's like everyone kind of looked at it and we're like, well, that makes sense. Like, why wouldn't we have that as a match? It doesn't feel like
Dad
they were
coming
like
in with a pizza.
What's in that little box?
So
breadsticks.
Oh, breadsticks.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
Portland, with that out the way, did you want to jump in? You want me to start it up for you, my friend?
We got a few more things, just real quick. I want to touch on the East side of things. So Becky Lynch came forward and she had an interview with someone this week saying that she does not trust Charlotte Flair, and that it is difficult to work with people that you don't like. And she said something about sometimes the locker room needs a hero, and I'm okay with being that hero sometimes, and all this other stuff. So we touched on it last week about their situation or incident that happened after Raw. So I want to touch on that. Also, speaking of Charlotte Flair, her father, Ric Flair, has announced that he is relaunching his podcast with Mark Madden. So
I'm not speaking on behalf of the rest of the podcast, but don't fucking listen to it.
Yeah. And then they're returning to Canada for the first time since COVID. So that's pretty much the only thing that's happening on their neck of the woods.
About
Oh, I did want to touch on this because we did talk about it last week. I don't know if y'all saw on like Twitter or anything, but Hacksaw Jim Duggan did did say himself that he's doing a lot better since his surgeries that he was going into. So
I saw that video he posted earlier. Was it today or yesterday?
I think it was like yesterday, but I just wanted to touch base that we all saw it, and we're all very happy that he's doing better.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep, absolutely, man.
Definitely.
Team Hacksaw for sure.
Oh.
Has anybody else got anything for current pro wrestling? Y'all ready to dive in to what could be one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time?
Yeah, man.
dive.
WrestleMania 19.
Yes,
19.
Dare and Dream is the tagline. March 30th, 2003, at the Safeco Field in Seattle, Washington, what is now known as the T-Mobile Park or T-Mobile something. That happened in 2018. The record breaking for this venue that still holds for this event 54,097 fans, resulting in a gate grossing on the plus side of $2.76 million. It also had a 1.4 pay-per-view buy rate, and it's the first WrestleMania under the WWE name, as most of the pay-per-views we've covered. The beginning of this night started with Sunday Night Heat, and the World Tag Team Championship was on the line. Lance Storm and Chief Morley versus Rob Van Dam and Kane, and the Dudley Boys came out, and they got themselves involved.
They turned heel.
Yeah, and turned heel on them. They gave a 3D to RVD, and actually gives a 3D to, I think, Storm. And then RVD goes for the cover, Bubba drops an elbow and drapes a limp Storm over RVD for the 3 count. This is pretty fun. I know that mostly no one watched this because it's hard to find it. I went and found it in Daily Motion.
Bro, that fucking site has saved my ass this week for posting content. You have no idea. I love that website.
Real quick, shout out Daily Motion. When I first started watching Japanese wrestling, I had a dude that used to upload all these shows on there because YouTube will ban you if you upload shit.
Yeah.
The Daily Motion, man, fuck yes. Anyway, I love that. I love that we got the shout out.
Daily Motion got the star of approval from us.
We need to start donating to that bitch. Damn, get all them ads off of the page, man. Come on. It's terrible. I feel like I'm getting a virus every time I enter the website, man.
I just wanted to say, I don't know if it bugged anyone else, but could we have not squeezed 3 more people into that arena to make it an even 100? Because 97 just feels weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. We could have lied about it. I don't fucking know if it's always true, their numbers, but just squeeze 3 more in there. Just make it 100. I don't know.
There's no way that's accurate numbers consistently, right? You're not actually counting gate like that. I don't know. Fuck them.
I don't know.
Like a little just waiting.
Yeah.
Click, click. It's 3 more
Sean
times.
sitting there. Yep. Sean or Billy, whatever his name is, just fucking sitting there the whole night.
You got drugged up Jeff Hardy clicking that button.
Drugged up Jeff.
Dripping paint all over the damn floor.
There's a wet guy that was counting the attendance. I don't even know if that number's correct. I don't know what the hell happened.
He's just sitting there doing the Hardy dance while clicking.
It's this, but then it's just every time it's a click.
Click. He hits 2 of them actually. They're just gonna add them up after the fact.
Tweaked out Jeff.
Oh, man. Actual WrestleMania main card opens up. Show starts with an awesome package. Superstars saying Mania means the world to them.
This shit was cool.
You got people like Taker, The Rock, Stone Cold, Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, Booker T, etc. There's all kinds of people. Really cool intro. There's huge pyro to open. And Crack Addict by Limp Bizkit plays. And
Before we get started on Limp Bizkit, they're fucking hate frienders. There's a part in that opening promo where Hulk Hogan starts talking. And he's talking about I just wanted to ask a question to the pod, but he talks about him body slamming fucking Andre the Giant and how that saved his what he did for my television. Do you guys think that completely buried Andre the Giant?
No.
No. So even prior to watching like the Andre like documentary, like it was always just like, okay, cool. Like at some point, Andre has to get like fucking like body slammed and like get kind of defeated. But then even finding out like how rough of shape he was in at that point in time, like it was kind of necessary. But like I'm also just fucking overhearing about him body slamming him in the Silver Dome. It's shut the fuck up. No one cares. Like cooler shit's happened since. Let's move on.
Yeah. The opening promo fucking ruled.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's sick.
I know that you don't want to talk about it, Pat, but can we take 2 seconds to just talk about Crack Addict by Limp Bizkit being your fucking theme song?
It's great.
Dude, it shows up so many times that I figured we would just get to it one of the times.
It fucking... So, I'm going to save my thought till the end, because the Stone Cold Rock match is where I actually wrote something down for it. But I was on the fence about it, and we'll get to it. It's fine.
I'm just going to say this now. I'm going to skip a little ahead. Right before they perform and Tony Chimmel's like, you know, WWE's favorite band. They're going to play
Yes.
They're going to play Crack Addict. I just wrote there's something about Tony Chimmel saying Crack Addict that just felt weird to me. But like, their song Crack Addict, Limp Bizkit. I was like, it just felt weird. Like, I'm like, yeah, I know that happens in like fucking like an hour and a half into the show, but it's just like I had to say it now because we brought it up. But yeah, Crack Addict.
Crack Addict, dude. Well, we get JR and King. They welcome us before sending it straight to Cole and Taz. Are you guys excited about Cole and Taz back in?
Oh yeah.
Like you missing Coach?
It's always a clusterfuck to have Cole and
Here
Taz
comes
as a
some
pair,
bullshit.
so it's fun.
Just a quick three words. Fuck Michael Cole.
Yeah.
How can you say fuck Michael Cole when we had Jerry Lawler acting up like he was on this show?
Oh no, I have a horny Jerry Lawler sentence written down, so it's fine. But at the same time, fuck Michael Cole for personal reasons. Fuck Michael Cole.
You guys should have known this man Jerry Lawler was gonna be up to some shit wearing that jacket with no shirt on, had his titties out and shit.
Nashville's finest, Midland's finest. My bad.
I love that we got Michael Cole with the jacket, but he's got the fancy little vest underneath with the bow tie. It's fucking great.
Is that
dude.
cat food? What is that?
This is Michael Cole's Twitter on the podcast Twitter, and let's block that cocksucker one good time for the one time.
Oh, God,
fuck
dude.
Michael Cole in this household.
I'm gonna send this to him.
I'm sending Michael Cole.
I don't want to have our first shirt say Up and Over Podcast, fuck Michael Cole, but like it feels like it's gonna have to be. I don't know if it'll sell, but like
drugged out Jeff.
just funny.
Yo, have y'all heard the rumor that Michael Cole can't hear out of one of his ears or some shit?
Good.
That wouldn't surprise me.
60% definitely.
From what?
Apparently just damage to years and years of him being on the stick.
Niggas yelling in the dude. Fucking time.
Yeah, Vince, Bruce, fucking Michael P.
I feel like Michael Cole's been yelled at a lot too. Like just
Oh yeah.
Say it, Michael. Say it. I mean,
Oh my
imagine
God.
all of the people that Michael Cole's had to be sat next to, and you know that like it's while they're fucking rambling, and Vince is like, "Shut them the fuck up," and he's like, "What am I supposed to do?" And he's just getting screamed at the whole fucking time, and like Taz is talking about BJs and fucking MFers and shit. Like it's, you know, the motherfucker's definitely one of you. He has to be.
And the other ear, he's got Crack Addict playing.
On repeat.
Over and over and over.
So, this is the WrestleMania match. It's the opener for WrestleMania 19. We get Rey Mysterio's first WrestleMania match here, and it's the opener with the Cruiserweight Champion Matt Hardy. Match goes 5 minutes, 39 seconds. And Matt fact for this event is that this is Matt's 4th WrestleMania, and he wonders how they did it without him.
He wonders how WrestleMania ever happened without him.
Yep.
Isn't that just something?
Oh yeah.
I I'll just get to the main point of it. The finish is Matt goes for a splash mountain, which is the what is it?
Powerbomb.
Razor's Edge
off the
something
top
like
rope. Splash Mountain, huh?
Yeah, reverses it. But the MFer, Shannon Moore, shout out to the big god.
A little MFer.
Puts Matt's foot on the rope for a 2 count. Matt knocks the MFer off of the apron and he eats a 619, but the West Coast pop was ducked. Ray does a springboard roll through, but Matt sits on Ray using the rope for leverage. And we get Matt retaining the Cruiserweight Championship. Are y'all surprised Rey Mysterio lost his first WrestleMania match?
No.
Especially dressed like that. I mean, you don't.
Hey, that Daredevil ring attire is the hardest shit.
A few things stuck out to me.
What?
Now tell me something, bud.
What you want, bud? You want me to tell you what I got?
That's the hardest shit, but Big Show in jeans is the most offensive shit.
Yes.
Jeans and a bit.
Yes.
Two sides of the spectrum, baby.
Yes. But Ray is always kind of like Ray, even back in WCW, had always kind of done like takes on different things, like with his ring attire. And like, I don't remember exactly, but I think fucking Daredevil just came out, so it made kind of sense. And like, yeah, it's one of my favorite ring attires I've ever of any of his. It's one of my favorite.
You win this one, bud. I back you on that.
Mm-hmm.
This was a fucking.
This was
an
awesome. This is the one time he's going to agree with me.
Fuckers.
Go ahead, Mike.
This was a super good opener. I just needed to get it out before Casey does, because I'm sure that motherfucker has it written down. Taz said that he was informed by Shannon Moore's morons that Hardy is officially off the banana juice. Just needed to share that one with you.
No more BJ.
The morons told Taz Hardy is off of BJ's.
Yeah.
Thank
God for that. Am I right?
Had to then clarify what BJ's were.
Yeah. The one thing that popped me in this match, Hardy reversed a Mysterio up and over. Into a side effect, and I was like, oh shit, that was super good. Like this match delivered every second the entire match, like the whole way.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Then Taz also said, wine me, dine me, 619 me. And I just have never changed.
It's
Taz.
one of my
never changed.
It's one of my favorite Taz-isms. It's like, here comes the pain, wine me, dine me, 619 me. Like, they're so fucking good.
I can hear it in my head right now.
Oh, it's so great.
It was good shit. I went 3 stars on that match, by the way.
Damn.
I enjoyed the shit out of it.
2.5.
2-3.
Yeah, I went 2 3/4.
Well, fuck me, I guess. My fault, y'all.
Fucking idiot.
Nobody.
Mark, you fucking Mark.
If you had a blast, buddy, throw some stars out.
It was good, bud. I enjoyed it.
Enjoy
don't you wait?
yourself.
You wait until we get to this handicap match, Buck. Don't worry about that one.
Which handicap? Oh,
Yup. Come on.
your boy, Mr. Jones.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, God.
All right, real quick. After this match, you had the Miller Lite Catfight girls roll up in a limo. Who knew who they were at the time?
Okay.
Not my worthless ass.
Okay.
I had to Google that shit, bro.
I'm going to get this out now. How much did WWE have to pay them to be there? Because it felt like it was like any chance that they got to shove them in our face. They were like, we're going to get our fucking dollars worth.
Apparently these Miller Lite halftime, or these Miller Lite catfight chicks had a halftime Super Bowl commercial.
They did.
And that's what it had them popping and famous and shit.
I remember them at this time. They had done the halftime commercial, and then I think they did like a couple of others, but it was like because of that, of course, Vince is like, we have to have these guys on the show. Right. But it was just like the amount of camera time they got was just insane.
Yeah. I had who knew who they were? Horny ass, shitty facial hair having Michael Cole knew. Fuck Michael Cole. That's real.
Never change.
and we see Nathan Jones down in the locker room, and it seems like he's jumped by A-Train, Big Show, and who the hell else could it be? The big guy, Nunzio.
My boy, FBI.
FBI for life.
They recap Nathan Jones getting his shit rocked in the shower by A-Train and Big Show. It isn't what you think.
I just love the fact that I got to see Nathan Jones laying in a shower.
Oh,
Just think on that for a minute.
this was
Those are the
atrocious.
Those are the things that only we can see watching this shit.
Back. He was like laying with the chair perfectly placed on his back.
I know.
That's
Just
good.
just awful.
Good shit. That's good shit. Well, we get what was it called? The greatest.
Ladies and
band.
gentlemen, please welcome the WWE's favorite band in the whole world, Limp Bizkit. I popped
Harmony.
eat shit. Fred Durst casually flipping fans off as he walks down the ramp was good shit. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yeah. They perform Roland for Taker, even though I think Casey touched on this before. This is not Taker's theme song currently, but
At this time,
they're
no.
here, so like fuck it. Let's make them do it anyways. And
Taker tried so hard to look like a badass there in that fucking row. He tried so fucking hard.
Fucking just. I will say the keep rolling pyro is still some of the hardest shit ever. But like to get to that point, it is just painful because like 90% of the song has to be edited. There was the fucking girl dancers there. There was the
My
two.
boy Aaron Carter. You see my boy Aaron Carter there?
Yeah, I was like, why are there two random white kids like half-ass doing the robot and shit? And I was so I always forget about it until I rewatch this. And I'm like, why is this happening again? I also had forgotten that this is like the one album at the time that Wes Borland had left Limp Bizkit at the time. So it's like he had left and they had two other guitarists on at the time. So I was just like, we don't get Wes Borland looking all fucking freaky. Like
The only thing this was missing was a drugged out Jeff Hardy.
we got the hometown here.
How the fuck is Undertaker on a motorcycle and still his entrance is the longest shit in the world? How's it happen?
I think his entrance is longer than the match.
It's shocking.
It's ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous. I forgot that there was more than one verse to the song rolling.
Oh God.
Mike.
Okay.
Like, I'm sure you have more notes about this than I do. Why don't you go ahead about you and your favorite wrestler, Nathan Jones?
All right. I'm going to read them as I have them, you fucks.
I'm gonna leave the room if this gets too far.
Honestly, I remember being a 9-year-old and failing to care about this match at all. At all, right? At all. At a 9-year-old. Nearly 2 decades later, and it's still very meh. The thing that made pop me the most in this match was A-Train screaming at Big Show to kick his ass. Good shit. Loved it. Loved it. Taker got almost all of his shit in rather quickly, but most of the match was spent putting the heel tandem over on Big Evil. The crowd was pretty hot for Undertaker's comeback. Big Show slams Taker, and here comes Big Nathan Jones! He hits a fucking spinning heel kick, and I guess murders Big Show on the ramp, then hits a big boot on A-Train, setting up Undertaker Tombstone Piledriver for I probably went higher on this than y'all did.
Oh God.
But I'm gonna start with
match me.
I'm gonna start with Ethan.
No, you bitch. You give it to me right now.
I have it, motherfucker.
You took the floor. You finished mopping it. Give it to me.
I have never heard that phrase before, but I fucking love it.
I went
Bring it.
1 3/4.
Oh, bro. Yeah. Come on, dude. It ain't that bad.
I went 1 3/4.
What?
It was
1
everywhere.
3/4.
There was no structure, you fuck.
The match
For me, the biggest moment was firstly the spinning heel kick, which murders a giant.
Okay.
Secondly,
Okay.
A-Train just saying, kick his ass. That's the shit that stuck out to me.
We are gonna talk about that spinning heel kick where it takes him 75 minutes to set up to do it. He's got to plant his feet and then like shuffle a little more forward and then do it.
Lifts up his track pants. He's like grabbing them to keep them up.
Yeah,
They're definitely a size too large.
We've got to lift up the Adidas track pants. You got to make sure those don't get dirty.
Lord. So now we move from me. Ethan, what did you have this rated, bud?
I said 2 stars.
Oh wow! See, we're in the same ballpark.
We're in the same boat.
I just want you to no. I want you to know you got finessed for weeks. For weeks, all of you. I finessed you. I said that Nathan Jones was my favorite, and I went less than you.
It was me all along.
It was me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin.
We've gotten to the point to where Mike has just lost his fucking mind.
Now tell me this. Just go ahead.
No, go ahead, bud. No. What was your question, please? You decided to mop the floor and I finished mopping it or whatever the fuck you said.
Buddy, you took the whole damn floor.
I hate this.
There ain't nothing left for me to mop up, son.
Oh, fucking
You
Christ.
stood there in the same spot. Move along.
Just mopping it. Casey, what'd you go on this?
This got 2 stars.
Okay, well.
I will say there is something very funny to me about you've got Limp Bizkit, you've got Pyro, and then as soon as that's done, you got the fucking Big Show's theme song. It is the most anticlimactic shift.
It was silent.
That's what I'm saying. You've got Limp Bizkit. He's coming down to the ring.
Cortland, what'd you go on this? I feel like you went 1 1/4 on it.
Who, Pat?
He put dud, didn't he?
What is it?
1 1/4. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
see,
1
I knew it.
1/4.
The way that Cortland reacted when you said it wasn't that bad, Ethan was like, "You're a fucking idiot. This sucked." Like I saw it on his face. However, Cortland, it's important that we keep this trend up. Would you prefer to watch this match or Dawn Marie Tori Wilson?
No. Here's this. Would you prefer to watch this match or Scott Steiner and Triple H?
Oh yeah, Scott Steiner and Triple H or this one?
Not Triple H.
You don't mean that shit. Log off of Discord. Get off of this motherfucker. Get out of here.
No, because I'd much rather watch something that looks potentially good on paper rather than look at something that when I look at it, I'm like, no.
He would rather watch something that on paper should have been okay, but ended up being a hilarious dumpster fire versus something that literally was shit from start to finish.
Doomed from the start. Yeah.
This is the Undertaker at WrestleMania in a handicap match.
Do you love the fact that they kind of hinted at like maybe this is the time that Undertaker's gonna lose his undefeated streak? It's like no.
Hold on, I'm just curious.
Never was a thought in anyone's mind.
A casual streak rankings match. So this fell, dude. It's rated high. Oh my god.
What?
This is rated as out of 27. It's the 15th best. So it's still in the second half. But I mean, there's some on here that are shitters.
15 best what?
Undertaker streak matches.
Get the
I
fuck
feel like
out of
it
here.
has to fall in like the worst, right? It has to be like
so hard on this match, bro. Like,
I'll give this shit.
No. How can it be one of the worst? All right, look, here's the deal. I don't want to watch Big Show. I don't want to watch Albert. I get it. But I mean, this story's simple. They're trying to get Nathan Jones to have his big run-in spot. I've seen way more boring matches like Triple H and Scott Steiner.
I forgot. Why does the ref raise Nathan Jones' hand at the end? He was not in this match. I'm like, you did nothing.
He rose from the dead in the shower. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Like you had to firmly plant your face on a shower floor. You might get something from it.
He picked himself up, wiped himself off, and came down there and pulled his track panties up and did a little kick.
He woke up when Jeff Hardy took a shower and got all wet. And they didn't know. He was like, where am I? And just Jeff in the background, just fucking Let's move the fuck on, please.
Conditioner. Jesus. Well,
enough about this.
Taker stands in the middle of the ring with the American flag that he rode in on his motorcycle. Good field moment. The crowd's really excited. Go America.
Stress eating.
like all that good stuff. Next up, we get a run-in between
Happy Veterans Day, by the way.
Happy Vets Day. Miller Lite Catfight Girls and Stacy Keebler and Tori.
Casually talking about Playboy and testicles. Just throw that out there.
Testicles.
You're great at marketing.
Yeah, and then immediately afterwards, it cut to a horny Jerry Lawler. That's the horny Jerry Lawler sentence that I had.
So next up, this is a great match in my opinion. However,
Wait. We didn't even. Yo, JR says that's a lot of pups in the dog pound. I just have to.
I have one thing about JR, and it's similar, right? But we'll get to it.
Oh, God.
There's a lot.
It's a lot to unpack in there.
Jim Ross. Oh, fuck.
we got a lot of quotes from commentary, dude.
Jesus Christ, dude.
It's rough tonight.
It's bad, dude.
Yeah, go ahead, Court. Let's move on to the next one because I'm sick of this shit.
Oh, I got some for this next one. Don't worry.
All right. Well, this is a great match in my opinion. However, King kind of it with commentary as per usual. Women's Championship match. Victoria as your reigning champion versus Trish Stratus and Jazz. I want to go ahead and put on record that Jazz has one of the hardest entrance songs ever. That shit hit. You're just terrified, dude. There's no way I'm fighting that woman.
I have one note for this entire episode, or for this entire match, and it's during that entrance, and I could not enjoy that because I shit you not, JR, Jazz has a young Mike Tyson attitude. The King.
Then what is King?
Mike Tyson look-alike, or like, Mike Tyson look, in fact, and then JR goes back and says, I wouldn't allude to the fact that she sounds like James Earl Jones either.
Bro, I died.
While she's walking down the aisle to the ring, she has a Mike Tyson mentality. She kind of looks like Mike Tyson. She sounds like James Earl Jones. Don't know what the fuck else you would, if you've never watched a wrestling match before and you see that, you're like, what the fuck happened to Jazz? You're like, why are they so mean to her? And then two of those quotes are from JR nonetheless.
Yeah.
James Ross.
Yeah.
Disrespectful.
We get Steven Richards with Victoria, and I'm a huge Victoria fan. She does one of the best moonsaults in the game. She pulled it out in this match as well. She does miss. However, Richards gets involved a few times.
I don't like how down Steven Richards was to beat up women in this match.
Yeah, he was always down.
This was Stevie Richards unraveled, man.
Yeah, he was on the downslope in his life.
This period of Stevie Richards, man, poor guy.
Should have just kept the right to censor together.
Yeah, great job, asshole.
A few times, but ultimately his demise is him trying to hit Trish Stratus with a chair, but he hits the rope, and the chair comes back and it hits him.
It is an amazing
self-inflicted chair shot.
It's an amazing spot in that match.
It is. It's good.
It's a perfect just.
I love those spots. I can't lie to you. It's so good.
Trish gives a satisfaction to Jazz. Victoria attempts a Widow's Peak, but Trish lands the chick kick for the 3. This match goes 7 minutes and 17 seconds. There's not a whole lot of bad spots in this match. I think everyone was pretty on time. I really wish that the commentary was different. I probably would have rated it higher because I wouldn't have been focused so much on that. But I gave this match 2 3/4. I actually really enjoyed this match a lot. I think that Victoria and Jazz are super underrated. And I'm really glad that I'm going back and watching some of these matches because they're fucking awesome, man. Pat, what'd you give it?
I gave it 2.5, but I mean, honestly, that's because of fucking King.
Yeah.
I agree with man.
It sucks, dude. Go ahead. Anybody?
I gave it 2.5, but I will also say that I'm almost kind of tired that over the last couple of years that Charlotte constantly does this moonsault and it's always over rotated. She almost always lands on her feet, no matter what. Victoria's moonsault is literally one of the best, men or women, it's one of the best fucking moonsaults out there. And yeah, it is a spot where she does not land on an opponent, but even that, it's straight onto the belly. It is just a beautiful moonsault. Like,
picture perfect.
It's perfect. But yeah, 2.5. It's not a terrible match. It did its job. That fucking spot with Stevie Richards makes me pop every fucking time I watch it. It was
It was an easy watch. My thing is, around this time, the women's matches weren't getting the most rave reviews, and for a lot of good reason in some cases. Not in these women's cases, but I mean, you put them 3 in there and they held it together. That's the way I look at it. They held it together. Nothing looked bad or overly bad. They hit some good stuff. Stevie was bumping. 2.5. Gentlemen's 2.5.
I went 2 1/4. And the only reason I did is because it felt like this was a sprint and it shouldn't have been. Like, and it wasn't on the women, it was on the ref. Like, the ref just felt like he was speeding them through. Like, let's get to the fucking back. Like,
it was
I
that
don't even
fucking
know,
Taker entrance. It took too long. They're like, we got to get this fucking going. Come on.
I had it for the Matt Hardy Rey Mysterio match too. Like, slow the fuck down. Like, the
Oh, they
counts were
rushed through.
fast.
Yep, they
Like-
rushed through Hardy and Ray in this match a lot for sure.
So I
And
went 2
something
1/4.
later too.
It was great, but I just don't think it had enough time to breathe for me to really enjoy it as much as I could have.
Yep, I agree.
Well, hell yeah. Well, next up we get Coach and The Rock. And The Rock says he is a sellout because he sold out every WrestleMania he's ever been a part of.
Tough.
And he doesn't give a damn about the people, as he shouldn't. You know, it's The Rock. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. I love The Rock as a heel. I think this is some of his best work. I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff that comes on with him later on in the night. But next up, we get a huge sleeper for this event. It goes 8 minutes, 46 seconds. It's champions Team Angle, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas versus Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, as well as Reno. You heard me right. They called his ass Reno, and Chris Benoit.
Reno.
I had talked to Carlin yesterday, and the promo that got cut on me about how the fuck do you mess up Rhino had me crying. Oh god. Just it's fucking, how do you mess up Rhino? Like,
Reno.
Chris Benoit and his tag team partner, an entire city. Fucking A, dude.
Reno, Nevada.
The match starts with chaos. There's a lot of quick tags, quick, great double team moves. Benoit and Eddie smash heads early, but Eddie lands a beautiful standing drop kick. And right after this drop kick, also right at the drop kick, he goes for a test of strength. And as he leans in, he lands this beautiful drop kick. And I loved that spot. You just don't see it a lot. And the spot I have written right after that is that Eddie goes to the top and screams Odele, and Taz says,
"Oh my fucking god, dude! Fuck."
Odele.
I clipped it. It's on our
Does
episode.
that mean frog splash?
Yeah, I wrote on this episode of Dumb Shit, Taz says, Viva la raza orale means frog splash. And then Michael Cole goes, what? And he's like, I don't know.
My favorite thing is when Taz goes, I don't know.
He's just like, I don't fucking know. And it's like, bitch, why'd you say it? Like,
Well, he says it again sometime in this night where they're like,
No,
he's like, oh, the catfight girls love me. And they're like, where'd you find that out? And he's like, I don't know, I just made it up.
God damn it, dude.
He works Benoit, but Eddie lands a frog splash out of nowhere to save a 3 count. Chavo tags Benoit in, Rhino gores Haas and Chavo, and the crowd is losing their minds for these gores.
Yeah.
The legal man, Shelton Benjamin, recovers from a frog splash and covers a broken Chavo. Great timing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Gore gets hit.
It was so awesome.
Eddie pulls Rhino out of the ring right at the perfect moment. Eddie's trying to get back in the ring to break 3 count. He just can't make it happen. World's greatest tag team, still tag team champions. This is also, I want to go on record that this is the first time the WWE tag team championships were defended at WrestleMania because we had a Raw and SmackDown tag titles. So it's pretty cool that both were defended on this night, even though one was on Heat. I'm glad this is the one that got a little more time.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
What did this go?
8 minutes.
6 seconds.
Jesus, it's still not a lot of time.
They really sped up the whole first half of this pay-per-view.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this was the other match that I felt like sped on through for what they're capable of at this time, which I get it. I mean, y'all had a lot packed on the show, but
Dude, this
Yeah,
was
the
this
rest
was
of the card is
fucking
straight
good though.
20+ minute matches.
Yeah,
beyond
this was fucking good though.
Well, it's like you've got
It's,
some very seasoned wrestlers in this, and then you've got like Team Angle, which I think they even said like they really hadn't even been in the WWE for very long.
Right.
No.
And then like Chavo's still kind of like newer to the whole thing, but it's like
This is
everyone knew their role. Having that many dudes in that many like spots, everything was like nothing felt like misplaced. Everything was on point. Like
everything had a purpose.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just they did great with the fucking very short time that they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were thrown to the wolves with some of the best, really fast. And real quick with that, Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas, Chavo, Victoria, and Ray all competed tonight, and this is their first WrestleMania. Was WrestleMania 19.
Gotcha.
So, good spots for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. It's always such a treat when you got Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit each other in a match. Like Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit working against each other is good shit. About midway through this, it hit me. Why did WWE ever think it was a good idea to break up Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin?
Dumbest
If they
decision.
didn't, I truly think at this point we're talking about them as one of the best, if not the best tag team of all.
I think
Yeah.
because of their short time together, they're still allowed to be in a consideration. But like with the caveat of like they were only together for such a short time, but they are literally at this time my favorite fucking tag team.
Dude,
Like they are
they
so
are
good together.
So good.
Didn't they get back together in like 2008 or 7?
It wasn't the same, dude.
Yeah.
Like
They did
this
have a
run
really-
was fucked.
They did have a really good ladder match with the Hardys
Yeah.
in one of those years.
I
But
don't
yeah, I agree.
I do want to touch. I don't remember who Benoit does it to, but his pop up to pulling down straight into a crossface is one of the wildest fucking things I've ever seen. I think it might have been to like Chavo. I don't really.
I think it was Chavo.
He just fucking pops that dude up and then is like, "You're coming down straight into a crossface," and I'm like, I have never seen him do that before. I don't think I've ever seen him do it again. Like it was one of the wildest fucking spots where I was like, how do they even think to fit that into this match? Like we've got so much going on.
Portland, what'd you go on this?
I gave it 3 3/4.
Whoa.
Yeah, I
Pat?
really enjoyed this match. I
gave
think
it
I would have gave it a 4.
3.5.
Casey,
I gave it 3.
Ethan.
3.
I went 3 1/4. Again, more time to breathe. This thing could have been the best match on the.
To me, it was just an awesome sprint.
So good.
I
So
probably would have
good.
gave it 4 if they would have given it 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes, without a doubt.
You
Yeah,
know
just to
where
breathe,
they
you know what
could
I
have
mean?
had that fucking time is the next segment in this fucking goddamn pay-per-view.
Yeah, we get more Stacy Tori catfight girls. Horny 2003 shit. Yeah. Horny 2003 shit, and of course, it immediately cuts to Jerry Lawler being horny.
This is where I actually wrote. I was like, how much did it cost to have these fucking catfight girls? Because Jesus Christ. So I was like, this
Yeah.
is the 3rd time, and all we've done is talk. And it's like this
It
is
just keeps.
there's
going,
no
too.
there's no backstage interviews with any of the wrestlers. There's nothing. We just get this, and then we have a very erect King right afterwards.
Wait,
so
this wasn't the one where they were in the bed.
Not yet.
Right?
We're not there
yet.
yet.
So
This
we
is the
were
third interaction that is a backstage promo.
This is when they start arguing about like Hogan and Vince McMahon.
Hogan, McMahon. Yeah, it's fucking awful. We've spent too much time talking about this already. Cortland, what's the next match that you have on your docket there, bud?
One of the best matches on this fucking card.
Yo,
we
man.
get the match, in my opinion, potentially. I don't know about y'all. This is my favorite WrestleMania match for Chris Jericho. Here's 22 minutes, 23 seconds. Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho. They have a really cool package here. These two are just at the top of their game at this very moment. I really enjoyed this match. They really dug into the damn ground as WrestleMania 19, the movie, during this match. But Shawn's entrance sucks. For the love of God, it sucks.
In all fairness, it's not his fault.
Dude, I don't care. It sucks.
I know it does, and it makes me laugh every time I watch it because he's like visibly frustrated, but like also just like who the fuck was in charge to make sure those like t-shirt cannons fucking worked? Because 3 of them didn't. Like,
why?
Yeah, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this, bro?
You're a grown man. You want to play with confetti guns?
What happened to?
And he doesn't need that. Truthfully.
He doesn't.
I mean, come on.
But fuck it.
You have 2 sets of pyro. You need confetti guns though.
Like, all right, fine. I'll go fuck myself.
His pyro did look good though.
Quarter of his budget on his pyro.
Yeah. Yeah, his pyro did look fucking good though. Like the backdrop.
It was a lot of pyro.
It was good.
Right? He had pyro at the ramp and entrance. He had pyro again for the flex in the ring.
Yeah.
And then another one.
And then he had another set at the top of like the dome.
He didn't. I don't think he had pyro at the entrance though. I think that's why he did the confetti guns.
No, he had the confetti guns, and it took 75 minutes because they kept breaking on him. But then he does the typical pose, and then he does he does pyro for that, and then he does like a spin, and he gets another set. And I was like, was that on purpose? I don't really know.
I love the cuts to Chris Jericho's face throughout the intro.
That's what made. Okay, I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna say this now. We're just gonna cut straight to this. If you know someone that has never seen a wrestling match before but is slightly interested, make them watch the package to this and then make them watch this wrestling match. It is one of the greatest fucking matches of just pure storytelling, because a little shit like that where you literally they just kind of just cut back to Jericho and he's like visibly irritated. It is. I love this fucking match.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
Definitely one of my favorites. And it starts with a collar and elbow, and there's a takeover, a few arm drags. Shawn's gloating heavily. King makes a comment about why would you start a match with a collar and elbow? And I just wanted y'all to think about that shit for a second.
And then JR goes, "How the fuck else are you supposed to start a wrestling match?" And
Oh,
then
no.
King goes,
No.
Did
y'all
I
catch-
haven't seen that done in so long, and it's like, bitch,
No.
you literally run Memphis wrestling. You're gonna tell me you haven't seen a collar and
Did
elbow
you-
tie?
Did you
This
catch what JR said back to him? What do you want him to do? Show puppies?
Nuh-uh.
I promise you, I
he
wrote
said
it down.
something ridiculous but it was like I remember he said something ridiculous because King's just like, what? And it's like, what the fuck do you mean? What? You said the dumbest thing here. I'm just
It's wrestling. What do you want him to do? Show puppies?
Oh my
Next thing I have written
god.
down is that Charles Robinson's hair looks awful.
Dude, so me and Cortland are watching this earlier, and I literally go like, "Who the hell is that referee?" And he was like, "Charles Robinson." I was like, "What?"
Bad night at the office.
Bad night. My man was sat in that chair for way too long. There's really cool walls of Jericho in the ramp walkway area. Jericho's such a great heel, the crowd fully against him. He's really working a repaired back. That's kind of the story of this year. And the year coming is Shawn's back. You know, it's surgically repaired back to Shawn Michaels. We dealt with that for the longest. They did a lot of quick pin switches, reversals, beautiful lion salt for a 2 count. Jericho catches Shawn from a Hurricanrana attempt into a walls that is picture perfect. You can't ask for much better than that. Jericho tunes up the band and lands the Sweet Chin music on Shawn, and it is one of the coolest things because he tunes it up.
Mm-hmm.
He's shifting his feet, doing the Jericho split, and then he runs and he kicks him. But the coolest thing about this is that JR says he's tuning up the band, and King says, "Well, at least it's not Limp Bizkit." And that made me pop big time. Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, the
Oh
poor
my
bastard.
god, dude.
It pisses me off that he's funny because 90% of the time he's not.
Because the rest
But
of
when
this
he's
pay-per-view
funny,
He is
because
funny,
the,
though.
it's so
the
good.
whole rest of this pay-per-view is fucking absolute dog shit, but he makes one funny one and we're like, God damn it.
You gotta give the devil his due, son of a bitch.
He stumbled. Never mind.
No, go ahead, bud.
I was gonna make a terrible little comment, a little catchphrase I heard back in the day.
We're already
Even a
halfway
block.
here.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. That's Jerry Lawler.
That is Jerry Lawler.
That is Jerry
A
Lawler.
blind, horny squirrel finding a nut.
The most Lawrence County bullshit I've
Oh
ever
my
heard.
god. I will also note, I will just note because it made me laugh because I'd never noticed it up until this match. There's a sign about 5-ish rows back from like it just in the front, and it just says "You are butt."
But
Yeah, I saw
It
that
says
all
"You
night
are
long.
butt," and I didn't notice it until the Jericho match, and I was like, I don't know why that made me laugh so much, but just "You are butt."
Of course you pop to that, you fucking mark.
That's it. Your butt.
Well, after Jericho lands the Sweet Chin music for a pinfall of 2 7/8, I'd say, Jericho kicks referee Charles Robinson into the ropes after Michaels makes an advantage toward the top turnbuckle. And Jericho lands face first after Shawn reverses a superplex attempt. And he lands that sweet WrestleMania moment elbow drop that everyone's been waiting for. Jericho ducks the Sweet Chin music and hooks the double leg for the walls. Crowd is losing their shit for this reversal. There's a big rope break. Jericho's temper tantrum and walks right into a huge super kick for a long 2 count. And there's a back bump into a turnbuckle. HBK rolls Jericho in an awesome back roll cradle for the 3 count. And right at the end, Jericho gives the hug. Hell yeah, that was the greatest match I ever had. Big moment. Crowd loves to see it. And then go to hell, Shawn Michaels. You screwed everyone. Big low blow to Shawn. Everyone is just in awe.
Perfect. Dude.
There's not a single thing I would change about this match. I'm going to go out on a limb.
Nothing.
Earlier in the week when I watched it the first time, I said, that's 4.5 stars. The first time I watched it. But I'm going to go on record. My first 5-star match for Up and Over podcast is Chris Jericho.
That's a hot take all day.
WrestleMania 19. And it's not just for the match alone. It's the story that they told leading to it.
Sure.
It's the chair shot in the ring, the challenge from Jericho. You get the answer to the challenge the next week with a surprise super kick at the ramp. You get the crazy taunt of him over Jericho in this feud. I think there's a lot of variables to this match that make it 5 stars. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm glad that I picked it to be my first. And I'm going to die on that hill. It's a 5-star match.
Love that. Pat, since you're in the same room, what'd you go, bud?
1.5 star.
Eat shit. Eat shit.
No, I definitely went for. I went 4 when I watched it. I didn't want to give my 5 away.
I get you.
If it's going to 5 out,
Gotta save her for someone special.
Sure. Ethan, what'd you go, bud?
You don't have to give out your 5. I've only given, I think, 3 matches my whole life.
There's nothing about this match I would change.
We'll have Ethan wait then. Casey, what'd you go?
So
What?
like I said at the beginning,
Let's
I
be
love
next
this
to each other,
match. I do also believe once again that this is one of, this is a great match to show someone. I gave it 4. I once again, like, there's not a lot I would really change about it. I think that the pacing of it's great. Like the Jericho tantrums throughout it are great. Like I just think like overall it's a really solid match. I don't really know what the fuck I can count as a 5-star match in my own brain right now, but like 4, I love it. I'm scared of what these two fucking monsters are gonna say right now, but
Ethan's
Ethan?
I'm gonna let Ethan go
Why me?
because, bud, you need to go.
I'm really curious where you're at on it.
because Mike's
I will
about to
give
say
you my
some.
honest review.
He's gonna say some hurtful shit right now.
I will. But go ahead, Ethan, please.
Do you want
Hey,
my
Will.
rating first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all two going 4 made me feel better about what I went.
Which is
3.5.
okay.
That's fair.
I don't know. I know Mike wants to argue, so I almost
I
want him
don't,
to
I
go
don't,
first so we
but
can
I-
rebuttal.
But I am curious as to what you didn't like because I feel like we all are gonna agree on the you did like, right?
Okay, so here's me, and this is also personal taste. There wasn't anything I outwardly didn't like.
Yeah.
But there wasn't anything that grabbed me by the throat and said, "This is," you know what I mean, on the edge of my seat. Match layout, phenomenal. I mean, those two are some of the best at it. Shawn Michaels especially. The build to it's great. I love the Jericho shit in the entrance. It just, I have a hard time with Shawn Michaels. I have a hard time with Chris Jericho. I've given Shawn Michaels matches 5 stars. I love a lot of Shawn Michaels matches. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought my AirPods
Not
died.
along.
I just thought, and the thing, 3.5 isn't bad to me. I don't have gripes about it. You get what I'm saying? You know,
Right.
it's not like I'm like, this match sucked and I can't believe they did this, that, and the third. It just, to me, it was good. It was really good. But I wasn't, splurging
Overly
all over the
thrilled
place
with,
over it.
yeah.
Yeah. Your turn.
I went 4. I went 4 flat. A few things stuck out, and it was just a handful of things, right? The Jericho hitting the flying forearm with the kip up. That crowd was going fucking ape shit.
Yes.
Then
Not
you
to
had
interrupt.
You're fine.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I loved also all the Jericho stuff. Jericho did a lot of good fucking shit here. Like the fucking pose, the sweet chin music.
And that's what he said, right?
good
He said that
shit.
he wanted to be Shawn Michaels, but
Oh,
that he
yeah.
instead now wants to be the first Chris Jericho. But he's doing all
100%.
Shawn Michaels shit. So is he really still trying to be a Chris Jericho or another
Yes.
Shawn Michaels?
Yes, that shit's very good.
Shawn kipped up and cut him off, popped my ass. And then
Yeah.
when Shawn Michaels was tuning up the band for his Sweet Chin music, it literally at home for me felt like the place was fucking shaking. It just felt like a big match and it was fucking awesome. So I went 4
Oh, yeah.
flat on it.
Yeah, it felt like a huge match for sure.
Yeah,
That's
and
why
the
I
big
understand higher ratings. I just know with my personal taste, I knew I was going to be lower than most.
sure if
but
it was
that's
Bret
not
Hart, it
good.
would have been a 5-star match. I get it. It's fine.
No, it
Um,
would not have. No, it would not have. I'm not some Bret Hart mark. I do like Bret Hart, but I'm not a mark for Bret Hart like my dad is. But
Oh boy.
I totally understand higher ratings. I've seen higher ones. I've seen people go lower than me. You know, it's all taste. I don't think there's nothing bad about it. The only small gripe I could have is the back work that Jericho went after early on. Jericho sold his leg and stuff even when he was on offense. It's just like when Shawn started all his comebacks, it was like all that stuff Jericho did to the back meant nothing. That's another gripe though I have about Shawn is like he can lay out a match, throw the theatrics out there, but sometimes if you pay close attention to little things, which I sometimes if a match is fucking insane and grabs me, I'm not gonna pay any attention because I mean I'm the guy who loves all the fighting spirit spots and shit. But then at other times it'll stick out to me and I'm like, oh wow, so none of that. So this first little chunk here meant nothing. Now we're just gonna go into super kick and boom and bam and boom and bam and oh everyone's freaking out. But I'm not grabbed because I'm still thinking about what they were doing before and how nothing followed up on it.
Yeah,
that was a thing that I had noted when we had all talked about the 3 stages of hell match with Triple H, is that
I wish I was here for that.
There was a lot of work done on his leg and on his back. And then it was like, as the match went on, it was like, why did we spend the whole first stage of that match working on those parts? Because Sean
It's
just
worthless.
fucking ignored them the whole time. And
Then it's like,
it
that's the
isn't
thing.
great.
It's like, and that's the thing about Sean is like, there's so many matches where that's the thing, when he sells and he fucking holds to it and he keeps that thing going, Sean is fucking amazing. I love Sean's matches with Diesel. I love Sean's matches with Vader. I love the later Taker matches. But it's like sometimes, and it goes back to the whole NXT conversation and how his style went. It's just like, sometimes there's not a medium and consistency. It's just, all right, here's this first portion, theatrics, boom. And then it's just all this stuff because Sean's fucking great at doing that stuff. You know what I mean? That's why, to me, the highlight was Jericho was a big highlight for me. Just the stares, the mockery, you know, doing all the stealing of the spots and how that played into the story, like Mike said, was great.
Yeah, and then the low blow afterwards.
Oh, so good.
The low blow afterwards is like the only thing that I have like distinct memory of outside of the Brock Lesnar shooting star from this pay-per-view, and it still is so fucking good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
That crowd was fucking upset.
Yeah.
They were like,
Like,
you motherfucker.
About the low blow.
You forgot
watching
about it?
Yeah. So I remembered it, but I didn't remember it being here. Like I thought this match happened and it led to this WrestleMania from a low blow. But watching it and immediately rating the match after the pinfall, I was like 4.5 stars. It's fucking amazing. And then the low blow happened, and I was like, that's a 5-star match.
Yeah.
Just
It's
because
good shit.
you wrapped this matchup with continuing it.
Yep.
And that's
Right.
what makes it a 5-star to me, is because you're continuing this story that I already thought was perfect to perfection. It didn't need a part 2 or part 3, but you're going to give us one because you fucking know that we want more of it. And
Yeah.
that's
Coming from the perspective you're looking at it at, I can understand why that would wrap you back around, because it's kind of like, I love when there's little touches after the match to add on, like, not to jump ahead to later, but with the Rock Austin thing, we all know after the finish, you know, those little moments and stuff you do to just add on to say, hey, this is what we just created. You know, in this case, it's not as sentimental. It's more just like, we're sticking with Jericho being fucking grimy, you know?
Yeah, the hug is the approval of like his hero, right? The hug is the approval, and then the low blow is still the fuck you. I need
Bitterness.
to be rebellious. That's exactly it. It's so good, man.
like if you think about Jeff Hardy Undertaker ladder match on Monday
Raw.
Night Raw, cool ass match, right? But then you get that end, you get the finish of after the match of Taker coming back, choke slamming him again, leaving again, Jeff holding himself up on the rope saying, "You still haven't broke me," and he comes down and instead of rearing his arm back and hitting him, he just raises his hand up, and then Jeff falls. That's what makes that match iconic.
Yeah.
It's the little pieces that come after, you know. But next up, we get Law Resistance referee from the last pay-per-view. Can't remember his name.
Sylvain Grenier.
Grenier.
You get it
There
right.
is. Pronouns, pal. We go into attendance announcement, and we get Crack Addict again. And it's
A
performed
live performance.
by
WWE's favorite band.
Can we just
In the
note,
whole world.
It's
Limp
all-
Bizkit.
can we just note that the drummer for Limp Bizkit has a Neil Peart Rush level
That-
drum kit that
that
goes
kit is
around him,
laughable.
and he plays 3 things on it. It's just
Right.
snare, hi-hat, kick drum, maybe a crash. Like, that's all he plays, but
That's
it is
it.
the most ludicrous fucking setup behind it. Like, that goes around him. And I'd forgotten about it until they cut to him, and I'm like, why is there, like, an entire other drum set to your fucking left?
Yeah.
It's
Whoever
the
was
biggest
You're not
show in
touching
here,
that.
bud.
right, whoever was producing this, like, tell me you don't listen to Limp Bizkit without telling me you don't listen to Limp Bizkit. Like, that's what that is. It was like the most elaborate kit.
Biggest show of the year.
Didn't need more of a pick-me-up after that. You get the Miller Lite Catfight Girls. They're supposed to have a pillow fight, and then I believe, if I remember correctly, Stacy Keebler comes out and says, "How about we make it a triple threat?" And then Coach says, "I love a 3-way," And
He fucking does. He fucking
I like how
does.
they gave Coach this segment.
and
Of
then
all people.
she said about making a fatal 4-way match.
Tori pops the tops out.
She immediately just ripped off her tops, and then
It's-
Coach is
He
pretty
hit
much
the-
doing
He hit the
commentary.
Cam Newton.
She hit the Cam Newton. Oh my god!
I-
They let the puppies out of
I
town.
have one thing written about this, and I was like, is it
Please.
possible we have found something worse than Don Marie versus Tori Wilson?
Nope.
I'll let y'all discuss. I will let y'all discuss this. The
Oh,
only thing I was honestly not even gonna leave a comment, but
I fast
Jim
forwarded
Ross-
through this.
Jim Ross asks King in the most like conversational way, just like, "Oh yeah, today's a great day. Like I went out, I had lunch. Hey, did you see the advance for Tori Wilson's Playboy?" King goes, "Yep," and he goes, "Unbelievable." That's how he says it. That's the delivery. Unbelievable.
I can hear him. I can hear him going, unbelievable.
It's fucking good. I paused it and had to laugh for like
Sassafras.
I had to get up and get out of my room. Like I was like,
you know,
I
one
can't
thing
be
that
in-
I like, whenever I don't know if they did it on this night, but I know I've seen it done on Raws around this time, when they cut to them to plug the Playboy thing and Jerry has it out looking at it. Whoa! Whoa!
No, they didn't do any of that stuff.
But dude, when he does that shit, like, are you just up there reading Playboy, bro? Like,
Yes.
oh hey,
Pulls it
some
under-
tits and ass. I mean,
like, always comes from low.
Do we-
It's always underneath the table.
Do we expect anything different from horny ass Jerry Lawler?
This
I
fucking
like
segment,
the
dude.
only thing I have written down is that, and then a 2003 horny segment. Like that's it.
Well, also, I do remember in this spot that Coach falls down.
And his tidy whities.
Yeah, he falls. Well, no, first he just gets trampled over.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
roll over him. And then King says something to the effect of like, "I never thought I'd want to be Coach."
Yeah, it's such a fucking god. And then yeah, they set him up to get tripped over, and then they pull down his pants and show his tidy whities, and then we all just kind of hope to God that this never has to be done ever again.
This shit is just.
It's rough,
Ass.
dude. And if this doesn't scream 2003, the next one will. It's 18 minutes 47 seconds, and it's the racist match of WrestleMania 19. Triple H, the champion, versus Booker T. Solid match, but fuck this program. I don't enjoy the
I literally hate
people like you.
every
I don't.
second about this match.
I don't enjoy the commentary of it. I think King absolutely destroys it for me. And honestly, every time I've watched this match back in my life, I like get genuine rage just hearing the shit that like this motherfucker thought was acceptable to say. Like, one of the comments was like, when I went to the mall with Booker T the other day.
No, wait.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
and-
Look. I'm gonna say this. Look,
Mm,
there's a lot of racist shit that was said in this match. This shit made me laugh though. And it's fucked up. It's probably one of the worst things he said throughout the fucking match.
dude, it's the worst.
But I was in tears. This motherfucker King goes, I went to the mall with Booker T the other day, and he tried to buy everything with cigarettes.
Yep.
He made a comment about his incarceration too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They
says
fuck,
never
man.
judge a book by his lawyer. Booker should have known he wouldn't amount to nothing when he
Dude.
found out he was born on a
Pool table.
Oh my god.
When I will say, when he makes that particular comment, because there were so many before it, JR just goes like, "How the hell do you know that? Like how like
Yeah.
it was so
And then he
bad.
says that.
I've never
And he said
seen."
the player told him, and JR's like, "Well, he was drunk last night," and like, none of this
It is
is
important.
good.
Like
None of it's important.
you can
Well,
you can actually hear JR get like audibly frustrated
Yeah,
throughout
'cause
this
he's like-
entire match. 'Cause he's like, "Will you shut the fuck up? Like, stop saying racist
Yeah.
shit for 2 minutes."
Yeah. When King mentions the Booker T's time incarcerated, JR responded telling him to get off his high horse, and then he's ridden it into the goddamn ground, which is fucking good shit.
literally.
Mhm.
Like
And that felt authentic. Like, dude, shut your shut your fucking mouth.
Definitely hear like in his voice he was tired of the shit, man.
Yeah.
Well, like as on our Instagram, I had pulled a clip from this match to show, and I'm gonna be honest, it was hard to find anything from this match that I didn't feel that didn't make me feel uncomfortable. Because like the shit that was said in this match was so bad. It's like I literally like this because of the program before this and the shit was said in it, like it gets a low ass rating from me because I could not watch it.
Yeah.
My thing about it is, if you they didn't need to go to that. Like, it's hard to take out the things that were said, but if you had this match without all that shit, it would have been good.
Would have been fine.
Yeah.
Booker sold his ass off. Triple H bumped for him so fucking good. If you take out these racist undertones and these comments by Jerry, the stuff that happened in the build and the stuff that happened during the match, the feud and match could have been good. When H and Book went face to face at the beginning, it felt like a big match, and then Jerry's in the corner saying some fucked up shit. You know, so I hate that they let this, like, potential. This should have been a great feud, you know, be ruined because that's the fucking, like, that's the only thing you can come up with for this. You know what I mean? Like, that's where you have to go to get fucking heat or whatever the fuck you want, you know?
I mean, we couldn't just pick apart fucking Triple H's lavender fucking trunks that he had on. We just.
I love those trunks.
He's a lavender trunks fan, man.
They're fucking atrocious.
That's sick. All right. This the only ones that they have in SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain.
Oh.
And that's how I remembered them.
In the promo package, the biggest thing that stuck out to me was that he actually pinned Triple H clean in the build to this. And I thought that was interesting because you don't see that in this year.
It was literally the Go Home Raw, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was literally the Go Home Raw that it was like Booker T beat him, and then you're like, are we gonna get a new champion? No, fuck us.
Nope, you do not. We're not gonna.
Nope.
Yeah, and then Booker sold the fuck out of his knee throughout this entire match, which was good.
Fucking phenomenal, dog.
Yeah.
It made it so hard for me not to. You know what I mean? I would get caught up in the match because of how good that they were fucking doing the shit, and this is Jerry over there spouting the fuck off. But like, I feel like it's.
With that said, would you go on it, Ethan?
I'm torn on even giving it a rating, to be frank with you.
Really?
You know what I mean? Just because I don't feel right being like, oh yeah, this was a good match because someone goes and watches, oh, Ethan thought this was a good match, and then they hear this shit. You know what I mean? It's just weird for me. You know, I'm not about it. I'm just not even gonna rate it, honestly.
That's fine. Casey, would you go?
Because I was like trying. Because like I said, it was hard to even watch the match, let alone like even care about it. Because it's like, oh fuck, I gotta listen to this shit again. I gave it 2.
Deal with this.
I gave it 2.
Wow.
Because like I have to give it something. I believe that those 2 are gonna go straight to Booker and no one else. Because he had some cool ass spots. His spot where he gets thrown completely to the outside of the ring and Flair works him for a second. Like that was great. The spot where he fights Ric Flair when he's on the top turnbuckle. He then fights Triple H and then he knocks Flair back down again to do that fucking crazy ass
leg drop.
Yeah.
The crazy ass front foot leg drop. Like it's so cool. But
Harlem
then
Hangover, baby.
Yeah, you get the Harlem Hangover. Like you get that nice little nod to who he was. His pyro at the beginning is fucking just a dope as shit. But like ultimately, like it's just hard. And it's like I don't understand how anyone involved with this was like, this is a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the in-ring work was so good. Like the only thing I hated outside of all the shit we've been talking about in-ring, like the actual in-ring work, the only gripe I had was the finish. I'm like, it also kind of to me falls along with the fuck shit they were pushing through the whole story. It's like, it's such a. It doesn't make Booker look good at all. You know what I mean? And you're already making him look like shit anyway. Like, what did this do for him at all?
I'm gonna be honest. I was like, I need Cortland to cover that because I honestly forgot. I don't remember what the finish is.
It's fucking trash. Good.
Well, Triple H has a beautiful spine buster, a few high knees. Booker lands one of himself. He misses a few scissor kicks, yada yada. They tease a ref bump. Glad there actually wasn't one though. It was cool to see like a little bit of a change there.
That was your best friend Nick Patrick in that match too, bud.
Yeah, I have them written down. It was also something really cool here that I hadn't seen in a long time. Triple H pulled out the Indian Deathlock.
Yeah.
And I really love that move. When it's executed well, it can tell a really good story. It can slow a match down. It can tell the pace that you want it to tell. Really cool spot. However, like Ethan said, this ending is trash. And it's not like, if you're not trying to bury someone already by this storyline, what better than to make them wait 20 plus seconds
For you to fucking pin
before
them.
a pinfall occurs, and then you want them to continue to lay there after the pinfall occurs because his
Bullshit.
opponent is still draped over him, still making himself an entire minute-long pedigree.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
Oh, no.
shit.
And the thing is, think about how fucking epic this match could have been if Book kicked out of that shit and fired the fuck back up and went after Hunter's ass.
They made him sell this pedigree for that fucking long. When you have Goldberg showing up tomorrow night on Raw, and he's
man,
gonna
you're spoiling me.
kick 3 of these in 3 fucking months.
Right.
Yeah.
That shit irks me, man. That shit
Cor-
really, really upsets me.
Cortland, what'd you go on it?
If you mute this match, I give it 3 1/4.
Wow.
See, I was gonna say in ring work 3.5.
Yeah, so I'm like, it was hard to objectively talk about this.
You don't see.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
like I said, Indian Deathlock. When are you gonna see that move pulled out? You get high knees. You get a lot of old school style wrestling here, and Booker T is on his top notch shit right here.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Dude,
He's
like,
he's selling this leg better than anyone has sold all fucking night.
night.
And-
Yep.
Dude, and also to think about the leg, I remember the spot with Ric Flair outside that he drops him on the
He
steps.
drops him on his snaps on his knee.
And King says, "Oh look, Booker fell again." And JR's like, "He didn't fall. He was attacked by Ric Flair." And he's like, "Oh, somebody call the police then."
Oh yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so did you go 3 1/4?
That's assault. Call the police.
Did you go
was
3
like-
1/4, or did you have a lower rating because of commentary?
Muted. It's 3 1/4 because of commentary. It's 1 3/4.
I gave it 2 3/4, bro.
That's what I went. I went 2 3/4.
Yeah.
I still thought it was
You
a
still walk
great
out
match.
while you're watching it. I watched that shit from the porch though. I mean, the match is good. The match is good when you're not listening to it.
Yep, it was
Yeah.
good shit.
But that's
It's
the
just-
problem. It's like you have to not listen to it
Oh yeah.
to even
I
make
just-
like any type of like enjoyment out of it. Is you have to mute that.
And I just, it makes me so mad that it can't be appreciated for the in-ring work because I really enjoyed what they did.
Yeah,
I fucking hate the ending though. I will say that's probably one of
It's
the worst
it's-
fucking
yeah.
disrespect.
yeah,
Fucking, like
yeah.
shit's trash.
This was like the first of the
leg either.
You just draped over. He just
Yeah,
draped
just
No,
over.
straight
just
over.
it was yeah. I was like, now that I'm
Yeah.
going back, he just like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And here's
And I
the
was like-
deal, y'all. Here's the thing. What have we seen all night in these bigger matches, starting with Shawn and Jericho and going on forward to the thing? Everybody kicking out of every fucking thing. But Booker T couldn't get one near fall?
nope.
And
Yeah.
what's the fucking common denominator there? What story are they telling? Some racist bullshit.
F5.
Right? Yeah.
2 F5s. The move that you
Angle-
have kept safe
Super protected.
here.
I mean, we'll
Like,
talk
you-
about it.
Move to be the devastating exclamation point. You get Kurt Angle kick out of it twice in a match while he has a broken freaking neck. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But you have Booker T just completely sell for over a minute of pedigree
Bullshit.
the whole time. Like it's just
Oh,
it's
dude.
really-
Yeah, I didn't realize how bad the promo work was up in like on this.
It was
Triple H cut
bad.
a promo like on the build for this and said,
yeah.
"You're here to entertain people. You're here to entertain me. Go ahead, do a little dance for me. Go ahead, give me one of those spinner routines. Entertain me. That's your job. Don't be embarrassed. You're here to make people like me laugh with your nappy hair and your suckers." Like,
Yep.
good lord.
Oh, yeah. This is what
And
they chose to go with.
This
The greatest
motherfucker
company in the world.
holds the title for over a year and gets away with
Yeah.
that shit. Like it's
This was the first match of the back half of the pay-per-view, right? So you had like this and then it stretched. We had all like the backstage stuff cut out after this, right? So
yes.
which was cool. We had a lot of wrestling. This was the worst of the 4 matches by a long shot.
Which is surprising, seeing what the next match is.
What the next match is. I think we've spent enough time on this. Fuck Jerry King Lawler for like all his shitty little undermining.
Fuck him
comments.
forever.
Yeah.
Shout out Booker T for getting the biggest match of his career and busting his ass and doing fucking
working
phenomenal.
his ass.
Yeah.
Cortland, let's move on. Let's get to the next one, brother.
WrestleMania match, you no good talent piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fucking Carney.
Go ahead on to the next one, my man.
Next match.
Y'all go ahead. Sorry, I'm gonna cool down.
So the next match was, and again,
Piece of shit.
we have no backstage segments, so it's literally this
Good.
match ends, you jump straight into the promo package for the next one. So this was Vince McMahon versus Hulk Hogan in a street fight, and if Hogan loses, he has to retire. The promo for this certainly tried its hardest to like blur the lines between like kayfabe and reality. You had a lot of shit where it was like Hulk Hogan was suing Vince McMahon, and like they talked a lot about like actual legal situations that they were going through, which I thought was really interesting. It was a unique take considering the rest of the card. It took a while to get going, but they eventually spilled to the outside, and Hulk Hogan cracks Vinnie Mac with a steel chair. And at this point, the crowd is eating everything from their palms. Vince got his ass good too, man. He was bleeding pretty bad. Then you had,
My boy Hugo gets cracked so fucking hard.
You had, so I have it. I fucking popped when Hugo, the Spanish announcer, got fucking murdered by Hulk Hogan. He got hit so hard, and it was such a gross noise that chair made on his head. Say what you will about Vince McMahon, but he came to fucking play. He looked awesome in this match. This was a blast.
Before we get too far, also with the entrance, so on Peacock, it shows the Voodoo Child theme song is what he came up with, but on the DVD release of WrestleMania 19, they put in the Real American theme song.
Really?
They dubbed it in. Yeah. Just but go ahead. Go ahead.
That's funky.
Before we got too far.
Vince hits a leg drop off a ladder through the announce table, and the crowd goes fucking bananas.
I lost that. I lost it.
It was good shit. Roddy Piper shows up, and the crowd's literally like the crowd was inconsolable. 10 minutes of this match. He shows up, the crowd's losing their shit, and then he turns on Hogan, and they're even hotter. Then we have a ref bump for good old Brian Hebner, and out comes the piece of shit Sylvain Grenier. Hogan hulks up, and the place is fucking dead. Like, I would die to be in that arena at that moment.
Vince almost fucking killed Brian Hebner, dude.
Yeah.
He like throws him in the road and
didn't get him out. Didn't get him out, and then he like you could see that Vince is like roid out, like throws him on the other side and just dumps him on his head, Perry Saturn style. And then you get a trifecta of leg drops. Hogan wins. And I thought it was great for what it was, and it delivered as much as it. Anybody else have anything to put?
I agree with everything you just said, honestly. Like, it was fucking awesome. It could have been really trash. It wasn't really trash.
That's the weird part. It's like the last four matches on this card. When you look at them, you go, Vince and Hogan has to be the worst fucking match on this card.
Yeah,
and you're like, okay, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
But then I have a couple of things. Like, one, these two motherfuckers can bleed.
Yes.
Two, R.I.P. Hugo for the rest of the night. He's out. Yeah. Motherfucker is gone.
He got his ass too. He was bleeding.
I was telling the missus this. I was telling the missus this earlier. I wish I fully understood Spanish, because I would love to watch this with the Spanish commentate, and be like, because I'm always just like, what the fuck happens when like their table gets destroyed? They're probably like, God damn it. But then it's like, you not only knock out you not only hit a Spanish announcer.
Aquí para nosotros. Está cerquita, aquí completo. Lo van a rematar a Vince McMahon. Lo tienen medido. ¡Oh, no! ¡Oh, no! ¡Le dieron a mi amigo! ¡Oh! ¡A Hugo!
As I had said, I had watched, because it came up, I'd actually watched the WrestleMania, the movie, today, because it's a short one. It's only like 35 minutes long. And it kind of covers like a little bit of like the Brock match.
Where did you watch it? Just out of curiosity.
So it actually just showed up on YouTube. I literally was like gonna watch something last night just for a little bit, and it was just there. Like it like just showed up on like my For You ones. I can link it for you guys. So it kind of covers like the Brock match, the Stone Cold match, and it kind of covers like a little bit of teeny tiny other bits. But it starts, when it's starting, Triple H says something and it made me laugh really fucking hard. So he's like, this group is like a band of brothers. Some you get along with more than others, and then there's the one you don't really get along with, but you put up with them during dinners. And as he says that, it cuts to and just zooms in on fucking Hulk Hogan.
Oh my God. Long-term storytelling,
Like,
brother.
He literally is just like, and then there's the one you don't get along with, and it's Hulk Hogan. And then he finishes the sentence. I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, he was, oh God, he was, I was like, goddamn, he hated him then too. Because then he kind of goes into being like, him, Stone Cold, Taker, like they were all the ones that were in the trenches. Like he basically alludes to like, we all fucking hate Hulk Hogan because he left us. And like we had to fend for ourselves in the 90s and shit because you went to greener pastures in the WCW. And also this match provides one of the greatest gifts of all time, and it's a very bloody Vince McMahon slowly coming up from the ring apron with the pipe in his hand, and he is fucking just
All
covered in fucking blood.
Yeah,
it's so good.
So great.
Yeah, what did y'all go on this match?
2.
Oof.
Really? 2?
Well, I gave it 2.5, but I mean, really, it's 2.
At this point, who's counting?
I went 3 on it. Patty, where'd you go?
I went 2-3.
I went 2 3/4 on it. I believe it was not a bad match. I believe that it kind of just served a purpose of like, fuck it, we're gonna give these guys a spectacle.
Yeah.
Is 2 old motherfuckers that have no reason to be in a ring, and we're just gonna let them cut each other's foreheads and bleed to death.
Yeah,
Disaster.
let's quickly mention that we lost Ethan. We don't want to just
Yeah,
act
so
like we
Ethan
haven't lost Ethan.
Ethan had to go.
Ethan is out on an excursion essentially outside of the Carolinas, and he had a little bit of an emergency, he had to get off. But he's sending me his ratings, and he went 3 stars on Vince Hogan.
Hell yeah.
Hogan posed to the crowd as Shane comes down to the ring. There's a tense stare down. Hogan lets Shane in the ring to check on his dad. And then we go into the promo for the next one. Cortland, what next one?
Oh, what is the next one? The next one is The Rock, Stone Cold, Steve Austin 3. It's all the big one. Act 3, the final act, 17 minutes, 53 seconds. The Rock entrance is badass here. I love this entrance, but it's fucking awesome.
So
dude.
good.
The fucking slow roll through the city is fucking
So
cool
good.
as hell. But before we get too far into this match, I want to point out that Stone Cold was hospitalized the night before from effects of stress, working out, and energy drinks that were laced with ephedrine.
He basically like he's stressing out because no one knows that this is his last match. Like Vince, JR, and I think even like he kind of alludes to it in the WrestleMania movie thing that like I don't even think that The Rock knew like that this was technically going to be his last time ever in a ring. And right after like basically the night before, he thinks he's having a heart attack. And I believe they were just like, he basically was like, his blood pressure like skyrocketed, but he basically just had like a very intense panic attack. And it was because he was like freaking out over like this being like the last time. And like literally like only a couple of hours before WrestleMania started, he gets discharged from the hospital.
Yep.
God, that's crazy.
It's JR, he called JR in his hotel room. He rushed him over to the hospital, and like that's where they were the literally Saturday night.
Yeah, until curtain call.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And shout out to JR for being there. I mean, they're been best friends this entire time.
Yeah.
And like their friendships never wavered or backed out. That's super cool. How does this start? It's a lot of talking shit from The Rock per usual. Crowd's hot for Stone Cold. There's a great stare down to begin before striking back and forth very quickly. A lot of leg and knee work from The Rock. The Rock brain point I have written down because it's one of his like the gestures he used to do that I would just think is like the funniest fucking thing.
So good.
Yeah.
It's awesome, dude. The sharpshooter, it's got to be put on. It's WrestleMania. Rock wearing Stone Cold's vest for, I mean, this whole match. Like, maybe 5 minutes.
They tore it.
Yeah, they did.
They ripped it, and it almost completely tore on the side.
Yeah. He does a double bird salute elbow drop. Rock does a kick up with the vest. It's fucking awesome. Like, he just kicks up, fucking straightens it up and shit. It's so fucking cool, man. Where am I at? Stone Cold hits Rock with a rock bottom. Steve waiting for a stunner. Rock catches the foot, gives Austin the bird, spins him for his own version of a stunner. Austin ducks a punch and lands a huge stunner on Rock after that for a long 2 count.
It's a back handspring stunner, bro.
Yeah. Austin shoves ref and Rock low blows, missing people's elbow, reverses a stunner, lands a spine buster finally, and takes the vest off, landing the elbow for, yep, you guessed it, another long 2. He lands a rock bottom, and Austin still kicks out of that shit too. God, they fucked Booker T over. Rock another rock bottom. That looks like Austin really hurt his hip on that one. I don't know if y'all caught that. There's one that he just makes this face.
Grimaces. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's one of those spots where you're like, oh fuck, man, I know that shit hurt. Like,
yeah,
that's not selling at all. The Rock must pose here. Stone Cold's on his way out, and Rock gets him after a rock bottom that finally seals the deal. It's a little weird for this kind of finish. I figured that it is Stone Cold's last match, but like no one knew that.
No one knew that shit at all.
So like Rock leaving early and just walking out and giving him the heart gesture and the love you at the ramp. And then Stone Cold's music hits, big standing ovation for Stone Cold. No one really knew what they were seeing. Maybe few could have hinted, due just to the way that, the finish was done.
Well, y'all know about the vest thing, right?
No.
So on his vest, he had OMR, which stood for one more round. Like he had already established that was his last match. Yeah, so if you look at his vest, it says OMR. That's
he lets you know on that one, yeah.
That's a little tiny little thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like he didn't really let anyone know. No one in the back knew. Like honestly, like it's really heartbreaking to watch his interview in like all his interview parts for that movie or little biopic, because he literally is like, I didn't tell anyone because it's the WWE. I am a gear that can be replaced. Like, it is the saddest shit I've ever listened to, where he's like, who the fuck am I? You throw that gear out, you put a new one in, the machine keeps working. Like, he doesn't let anyone know. If you just watch the end right after the 1, 2, 3, The Rock starts to talk to him, and I think that's when he kind of started to really piece together like 100% that this is officially the last match. He shoves Hebner away. He shoves him away like 3 times. He's like, get the fuck out of here. And he keeps talking to him for a minute. And it's probably him just being like, I'm going to do a quick pose. I'm going to give you the floor type of a thing. But it's like, you can kind of piece together like it was like it meant something to both of them. He probably thanked him a bunch. Like, it is just.
It was a lot more than just a wrestling
fucking match, dude. Yeah.
A lot more than a wrestling match.
Absolutely. Mike, what'd you give it?
All right. Firstly, I wasn't sold on Crack Addict as the theme song until this promo package. This is the only song that fit this promo pack. How couldn't you love this match?
Yeah.
They didn't do it. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't anything crazy sexy, but it was just storytelling at its finest. And by the end sequence, like, you can see how much it meant to both of them. I went 4 1/4 on it. I thought it was one of, if not the best match on the card. And it was so good. Ethan went 4 1/2 on Austin Rock. Casey, what say you, my friend?
I went 4 1/2, and I wrote, whoever created this promo package needed to get a raise.
Yep.
Granted, this is 2 times now that we've gotten a Limp Bizkit promo package, but both of them are fucking beautifully done.
Top-notch shit.
And it's like it's great. I will say, like, it is one of those ones where it's like, I really try to like take out the fact of knowing that it's Stone Cold's last match without trying to be like, biased about it. Like, I will, like, because I still hold WrestleMania 17's match so much high, like, it's such a high pedestal it's on, like, this like basically has to share it. And I think it's why I also probably have a hard time picking a 5-star, because I'm like,
that's like a 4 3/4 type thing.
It's like that's why I'm like a 4 1/2 is like a nice spot where it's just like, and I think like, I don't even know if everyone knew this was Stone Cold's match, if it would like cheapen the match at all.
Right.
But like, it's, god damn it, this match is great. And like, yeah, like the fact that like The Rock basically works over half of this match with a fucking vest on, like, and then like, yeah, even like the rock bottom attempt that's failed, he knocks it back down, he takes it off, he spits on it and throws it at him, and then does the rock bottom again. Like, it's just like those things are just like, god damn it, these two are amazing together.
And even without people knowing that it was Stone Cold's last match, it was still such an emotional match. It was emotionally driven.
Yeah.
I don't think that you needed that. I don't know if it added.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that almost might have cheapened it if if anyone had known. But like, I love this match. It's so good.
Cortland, I think I saw Pat go 4. Am I right, Pat? And Cortland, what'd you go, my friend?
3 3/4.
Oh, may I ask what you didn't like about it?
Too many finishers.
Okay.
I hate no selling finishers. It doesn't do anybody any good. I get someone kicking out at their own finisher. Of course, you would know what it would take to withstand something that you deliver every night. However, it just, to me, sometimes the finishers just, it gets too much for me. I feel like it hurts what we're trying to do.
I agree and I don't agree. I agree on the sentiment that too many finishers and no selling finishers is kind of bullshit. I don't agree for the fact that it was WrestleMania. I feel like if you are going to do that, the only time to do that would be at a pay-per-view like WrestleMania or just something like important like that. But I agree with, like, I don't really like that. Like,
and I feel like it goes with saying that because it's their 3rd time at WrestleMania together, and it's like they've gone to hell and back with each other. That it's like, you think only one fucking rock bottom's gonna take me out of this? Like, fuck you. Like, you're gonna have to give me 17 rock bottoms before you think I'm gonna let you win. So like, it's one of those things. Like, it's like now people doing it. It's but like I feel like
weekly basis of people just kicking out of it's just fucking
It really
whack.
kills me.
Yeah.
I
Because
feel
like a thing for me in pro wrestling, I feel like one of the really great pieces of reason why I love pro wrestling is because it's obviously all a work,
Yeah.
right? But it's you tricking me that it's not. And the second that you remind me it's a work, you've exposed it. You've done exactly the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. And if I have to see 25 fucking Canadian destroyers and Spanish flies, but you want me to believe a fucking Bailey to belly is a finisher, then like, whatever, I'll deal with it.
I feel like
it just gets to a point where it's like, dude, 4 rock bottoms. It is a lot, and then like, stunner as many times as you want, dude. But it's cool, man, because Eric Bischoff took 5 stunners and walked the next day.
I was never.
So like,
I was never.
What the fuck are we doing?
I was never sold Stone Cold Stunner as a finisher.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
Oh, that's a take for another day.
How does that hurt anybody?
I mean, like you're taking a grown man's arm straight to your jaw. I don't fucking know. Like,
it wouldn't feel too good.
He kicks you kind of in the dick.
Get off of here and have Cortland give you 5 of them. See how you feel.
I mean, if we're gonna go ahead and say Stone Cold never got a real good gut shot, they were always kind of a little south. Like he kind of kicked you in the dick and then did it. So
I think it's more the verbal berating afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that good shit. It's that good shit. And then we move on to our main event. We had Kurt Angle as the champion taking on Brock Lesnar in a WWE. If Kurt Angle had any interference on his behalf or tried to get disqualified, he would lose the title as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This match went 21 minutes and 4 seconds. Like you said, Kurt Angle is the defending champion here against Brock Lesnar. This is Brock's first WrestleMania, and I just want to point out his first WrestleMania, and he is main eventing above all of the other matches we've talked about tonight, and he's facing an Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle. And so Kurt Angle found out about a month before this that he has a broken neck, and he knows that he needs surgery, and the surgery is going to put him out for a little over a year. And Kurt, being the badass that Kurt Angle is, he said, well, I'll just push that surgery back and I'll get through WrestleMania. So Kurt Angle wrestles this entire match against Brock Lesnar with a broken neck.
So they had stated, they were like, if he went with this, they're like, he needed to get surgery. But they're like, if he wrestled, he faced risking paralysis because of how bad his neck was. He ended up having 2 of his discs in his neck were going into his spinal cord. That's the level of pain that we're in right now. He had also made the mention that like he was a little worried that of all the people he had to wrestle, it was Brock fucking Lesnar that he had to wrestle against with a broken neck. It was just, it's like hearing him talk about it, you're like, then why did you fucking do it? Like,
we had the prequel to Perk Angle here. He's just a true maniac.
He literally he had said because they once again just kind of, it's nice that I got to watch this again and fully encapsulate it. At this time, we are dealing with Perk Angle, the first version of it, because he said like, I could not wrestle for a while without any type of pain medicine. Like he had been in pain for several years and he had dealt with it. And then eventually he went to a doctor again. They're like, dude, like your neck's fucked. Like something had happened to where basically the same injury that he dealt with the Olympics had resurfaced. And they were like, you need fucking surgery. You're never going to walk again.
Jesus.
Yeah. They're like, you literally could be paralyzed. And he was like, hear me out. I'm going to go ahead and wrestle.
Brock's going to dump me on my head multiple times. He's
I'm going to
dump
get
me on my head.
F5 to hell.
He said I'm getting a new neck tomorrow. Fuck
And
it.
then,
Yeah.
I can't pay for surgery without the WrestleMania main event bag.
I get that main event money and I got a new neck. You know what I mean? Like,
Shit's
Because
expensive,
Vince
brother.
doesn't believe in health care for unionization on
Hey,
free
you
agents.
better watch that word unionize.
Oh god.
Michael Cole's voice was shot when Brock came out. He had a long night. Fuck Michael Cole.
Hold on. Cortland, how long was the Stone Cold versus Rock match? Hey, flip that page over.
17 minutes, 53 seconds.
Not a single person could have got Michael Cole a hot tea or a lozenge of
He's
some
just
kind.
sitting there. He's just sitting.
Not a single person could have got him a drink to help his throat. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
The Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan match, that is a SmackDown program, and JR and King are the ones who did commentary for it.
You have 40 minutes then. 40 minutes of time.
He ain't
I
doing
wonder if it was a SmackDown program without Taz and Cole on it.
because
Cole sounded like
Michael-
shit
because
here.
Michael Cole is notorious.
on this story between them, like on SmackDown with all
Yeah,
this, like
Because
he's on the heat for this shit, and then you just get King.
because Michael Cole is notorious for blowing his voice out 3 matches in, and watch any Royal Rumble he is commentating on, his voice is gone.
Really?
Anytime. It's because he overworks it early on, and then by the time you get to the main event, he's like, so it's we've
Yeah,
got
he sounded
Brock Le-" It's so bad.
fucking bad here.
It's so bad.
They do a lot of for the package you see throughout this month. Brock wants Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's doing anything and everything. Go through Team Angle first, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. Of course, that doesn't work out. They do a quick switch. I think it's the first time Kurt Angle does the brother-cousin switch, something of the sort. That's a pretty fun thing. It's finally here. They're really selling the "Here Comes the Pain" thing here, and I mean, like,
they are
fucking really selling it. Brock has bandaged ribs, and it's all around just a mat-based wrestling style match.
Yeah.
Lot of great belly-to-back suplexes, German suplexes, belly-to-belly overheads, just fantastic work on both ends, especially just them. You can truly see when the difference between pro wrestlers and then amateur wrestlers who have made it to professional wrestling.
Yeah.
right.
And being able to like bleed those two worlds that are so close together yet so far apart, and you pull them in together and you make
And you get
just
this good shit.
art, man.
It's good,
And
man.
good as it gets, you get this fucking moonsault that comes up after the first F5 that Kurt Angle takes and kicks out of. You get old Brock thinking that this man, what's Brock's weight here? 325, 350?
I thought it was like 265 is what he was walking around at
I'm
this time.
shooting high here because I mean he's a big son of a bitch.
He's
you know?
yeah,
Huge.
280 without question.
Yeah.
Easily. He's a big motherfucker at this point.
You got Kurt Angle 2/3 quarter away. Like
I didn't realize how far across the ring he was.
Dude, he's fucking far. Fuck.
If you
He
ever
tried to rob
forget-
Van Damme a shooting star press.
Well, he goes. So during the OVW time that he was there, he had been doing shooting star presses, and it was impressive because he was
Across
fucking
the
huge.
ring like that?
No, but
They
that
were
was the
way
thing.
closer.
They were more reasonable. For whatever reason, Brock himself had said he thought Kurt was closer. He did not in his mind, because of everything going on, he was like, oh, it's fine. That's why he didn't even second guess doing it. He just got up and did the spot. In all particular fairness, the motherfucker almost made it.
Brock is in the middle of the ring.
No.
Brock is the center point of the ring. How does he think Kurt's closer?
He hits Kurt in the back. When he
the
spikes
ribs, right?
himself, he hits him in the back, but in all fairness, the motherfucker almost makes it.
but that judgment is wrong because for him to say, I thought it was closer, he is halfway in the ring. He's the middle point of the ring.
Hey,
he's
man.
directly in the center of the ring. And then he thinks that he's closer, but he's like, it was like corner to corner. This motherfucker went coast to coast on a shooting star press. And not only did he do it, he fucking rotates much like a fucking can of tomato paste would through it, tried to do in the fucking bottle challenge.
So
he lands straight on his fucking bean so bad that he gets mat burn over his eyebrow.
Yeah,
literally.
So he doesn't remember much in the interview about
I wouldn't either.
He's like, he goes, I remember the crowd. I remember seeing the lights, and he goes, and he's like, when coming back over, he's like, I see Kurt's singlet, so I think I have it. Like, he literally was like, he's like, well, coming back around, he goes, I'm seeing Kurt Angle's singlets. He's like, I should be on my mark. Misses by about 6 inches, but like he's like, he's like, after that, he's like, don't really remember much.
So after that, surprisingly, he didn't die. Luckily, there's not 2 broken necks in this match.
Fuck.
Not a fan of him, but Ric Flair does say he's like, I don't know how he did not die. He was like, if it was any other person in that ring, they would have just been lying there. This psychopath gets up and delivers another F5.
Yeah, I mean, the lights are on, but nobody's home.
No, Kurt looks over at him and he's like, all I see is a blank expression on his face, and he's like, are you okay? And he's just like, like, he's like, he is fucking gone.
He's in the corner, and they're trying to give him the belt.
The belt, and he is just.
He had said when they were trying to do that, he had said like when they were trying to do that finish and give him the belt and get him up and stuff, he was like, the entire arena felt like a gymnasium. And then as they stood him up, he was like, the room got bigger. And he was like, so like backstage, he's really confused. People are trying to get him a C-collar on his neck. They're trying to get him to an ambulance. He is fucking fighting people because he doesn't really know where he's at. He's fucking kind of scared. Like, his head hurts. Justifiably. He's like, he doesn't know what's going on, but he's like shoving people out of the way, and they're like, you need to go to the hospital, you fucking lunatic. Like, meanwhile,
question.
Hmm?
Do you guys think that the shooting star press was actually supposed to be the finish? Like, you think he was supposed to hit the?
No. They had the F5 protected so much. There's no way you could do anything but.
Okay.
I have an exact quote from him on this, by the way. He goes, looking back at that match, I probably wouldn't do the shooting star again, but I'd keep everything else because Kurt didn't get hurt or hurt worse than he already was.
Okay.
So he's like, he's happy with the match, minus the fact that he almost fucking died.
A man that was out to die.
What no one else heard, what no one else hears or sees is that Kurt is in so much pain after this match, and he's upset because of how hurt he is. He ends up kind of losing his mind. He's with John Laurinaitis. He ends up stripping down naked because he's starting to have chills, and he's like, all of the
this is who? Brock?
This is Kurt Angle.
This is Kurt, okay.
So Brock is fighting half of fucking medical, and then Kurt is sitting in a corner, butt-ass naked, freaking out because his like neck is like done, and like they have to force him to put blankets on him to get him to the hospital, and then he basically has his surgery like a day later.
Jesus.
Yeah.
The fun story, though, is that Cortland had mentioned that he was supposed to have a neck surgery that was going to keep him out for a year. He opted to do a more aggressive surgery that either would have had him back in the ring in 2 months or not. Those were the
Ever.
two. It was basically like your career is fucking done. You might be paralyzed. They're like a horrible shit can happen, or in 2 months' time you're back in the ring. And he took that one, and it went well, kind of.
Yeah, well.
Given what happens to him, later on.
Casually.
The finish here, we get a big hug to close the show. I love the recap of WrestleMania.
Yeah,
It's very good.
That's one of my favorite things. Like at the end of the show, especially these long ones, man. Especially once we got to like WrestleMania 18, 19, and so forth.
It's easy to forget what happened in the first half.
Exactly,
Yeah.
man. And like, especially for these dual brand now WrestleManias, where you got 2 full show programs, and you're trying to get everyone's stories in. The recap really does help. I really wish I didn't have to hear "Crack Addict" again during this recap, but like it had to happen.
They said,
I mean,
we
when
paid rights for this song. We're going to get our fucking money's worth.
Big money, bro.
So yeah, when they do the highlights for this whole event, dude, it's nothing but great highlights.
You
Just-
forget you forget about half the matches, dude.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
back-
think like in total with everything, this was like a 3-ish plus hour pay-per-view. So it's like people there are probably exhausted. Like we're exhausted. Like you've got Limp Bizkit performing twice. You got Cat, the fucking Catfight girls. Like it's a lot. So yeah, we almost kind of need like did you remember Ray and Matt from fucking
for like
7 hours ago? Yeah.
Mike, what'd you go on this?
I went 4 flat.
So did I.
Same.
Ethan went 3 3/4.
Four
Pat,
goals.
you have 4? A few things stood out to me. Taz mentions Tito Ortiz, and for me, that's of note. The UFC hasn't taken off yet. It's almost in the point of folding right now, right? The Fertitta brothers don't own it. Dana White doesn't have a part in it yet. We're 2
Yeah.
years out from Stephan Bonner, Forrest Griffin, which is like widely considered the fight that kept UFC afloat.
Same company.
You're 2 years away from that. So I thought it was really interesting watching this back that Taz mentions Tito Ortiz. And Lesnar, dude. Lesnar in this run, like his first run, sold his ass off. Kurt does a German, like a release German, and Brock cuts a full front flip and lands on his stomach.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't get that out of Lesnar nowadays.
Never.
The false finishes were fucking badass. Like, they both hit their finishers. Kurt really couldn't have cut that 2 count any closer. It was like 2 and 31, 30 seconds. Like, it was as
He barely
as
kicked out.
close as you're getting.
It was a close
it's
one
like-
because it was we had the first ever kick out of an F5.
Yeah.
And,
And it was like,
everyone in there lost their motherfucking minds because they were like,
Yeah.
never seen it happen before.
Less than anything.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
man,
was.
it's bullshit chant.
For
There's bullshit
so
chant after that, too.
long, man.
And they
It
give
was
a
nice.
man with a broken freaking neck the kick out. We love it. Kurt Angle is the embodiment of a fucking gangster. The shooting star, I wrote down, holy shit, how did I shooting star press was literal psychotic moment from Brock. Any other turnbuckle and he's closer. Literally. He pulled a Rob Van Dam.
I literally was just like, it doesn't get easier to watch no matter how many times you watch it.
I
It is the
want it
most
on a 10-hour loop, actually. Just the landing. Bah,
Our,
bah, bah.
our,
I want it
our
constant.
background for this episode
Is it
Brock
midair, or is it
fucking
landing
he is,
straight?
He is almost perpendicular, upside down. It is the
Ugh.
most insane shot. I'm just gonna go ahead and say once again, he almost made it.
Insane.
Almost made it.
He
He did.
And with
really-
that, we clear through the episode, my friends.
That is WrestleMania 19.
Next
Mike?
week.
Yeah.
What's that?
Mike next week. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
tell
yeah.
us.
So next week, as we're recording this, it's the 11th, now the 12th, so it's like Thursday night. Full Gear is in 2 days. So AEW Full Gear. We have Rampage tomorrow night, Full Saturday, and Dynamite on. We can do like a conclusion of our first real live wrestling, like in 2021, and bust a podcast on the good, the bad, the ugly over the next week of AEW television. and pay-per-view.
Oh,
Perfect.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
fellas,
that does it for this edition of the Up and Over podcast. I am Cortland Gwynn. To my right is the good old Patrick Wright, Big Money Mike, and Casey El Gordo, and our farewell friend Ethan, wherever he went into the dark abyss.
Farewell.
To parts unknown.
Parts unknown. We appreciate all of you for being here. Please support us on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, now on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Plug us anywhere you can. We are not doing anything with advertisers at the moment, so any support will get us further so we can keep bringing you these things and get better lighting and better cameras.
We got OnlyFans coming too.
oh my god.
I'm
All right,
gonna
fellas. Well,
to Sonny's OnlyFans.
go fuck yourself. Jim Ross is gonna nut. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you back here hopefully next week. Rest of your week.
Yes, sir.
Farewell.